Hi, it's Paul here from selfhelpforlife.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to overcome the fear of rejection. So what is the fear of rejection? Well, it's an irrational fear that people won't accept, approve or like you as a result of your opinions, your looks, maybe your personality, your values, your beliefs or behaviour. So the key word here is irrational fear. And where does this irrational fear come from? Well, I think to start with, it comes from childhood. So your parents, when you did good things, gave you love and attention. When you did bad things or wrong things, they then might have sent you to your room or told you off, that kind of thing. So as a result, you associate a bad feeling when you're rejected by your parents when you do the wrong thing. And it may well go further back than that as well, to when we used to all live in tribes. When you lived in a tribe, to be able to actually live and survive, you needed to be part of that tribe. Okay, so if for any reason you got rejected from that tribe, then potentially you could die. Okay, so it is quite a deep-rooted feeling as a result of that. Now there's really three main areas where rejection's an issue for people. The first one is work and career, because it can affect your professional success, but also your social interactions with work colleagues as well. The second area is friendships, and the third area is romantic or intimate relationships. And there's quite a few symptoms that people who experience rejection feel. One of them is thinking about how other people see you in a negative way. So focusing on how other people see you, but doing that in a negative way. It's also about having that feeling that other people feel that you can't achieve your dreams. Okay, so you're doing something that's taking you out of your comfort zone, but other people kind of belittle you in some way. It's a feeling that you're not worthwhile to others, so it's kind of low self-esteem type thing. Linked with that is feelings that I'm not intelligent, talented or capable enough. Or it could be something enough. I'm not good enough, intelligent enough, smart enough, all those kind of things. Another thing that people who fear rejection do is they give other people low expectations of what they're going to deliver for that person. So maybe they'll say that they'll do kind of an okay presentation, when in reality they can do something much better. So they're lowering those expectations so that there's less chance of being rejected. Some people notice physical symptoms as well, stomach pains, headaches, typical fight or flight type responses in those situations where you might get rejected. Other people procrastinate. This is a common one. Procrastinate on things where they might get rejected. So that could be sales calls, asking your boss for a raise, those kind of things. Or they find excuses to remove themselves from situations where you might feel rejected. So you just try and avoid those situations altogether. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the 10 ways that I've come up with to help you overcome your fear of rejection. So the first one is to let go of the belief that you will always be rejected. So if you believe that whenever you go and approach someone that they're likely to reject you for whatever reason that is, then you will give that kind of energy to them, an unconscious signal. It will come across in your body language, and that will push people away, so they're more likely to reject you. And when that happens, that then strengthens the loop, the belief in your mind that you will always be rejected. So it becomes like a vicious cycle, really. And I think one way to get over that is to look at the facts. So Brendan Burchard came up with an interesting statistic. He says that an average of 5 to 7 people will hurt your feelings in your lifetime. So between 5 and 7 people typically will hurt your feelings really, really badly in your lifetime. And also during that time there'll be thousands of other people that you interact with, where those interactions are great, they go really well, they flow well, or they just go okay. So once you realise that, when you're thinking about other situations in the future where you might get rejected, just remember that the actual chances of that happening are actually quite small. The next one, number 2, is to change or reduce the meaning of your rejection. So remember that every famous person, particularly musicians, novelists, artists, have been rejected many times, and for them that was part of their journey to success. And I think part of the issue is that we have a sort of all or nothing, black and white thinking about rejection. You know, the thinking is, if I don't get this job or I don't meet this particular person, then my life is over, I'm never going to be happy, kind of thing. So if you can broaden that goal a bit to be something along the lines of, you know, it's not so much about the job, it's more about going to work and feeling happy and fulfilled and energised regardless of what the job is, then that broadens that goal and that can make that rejection less meaningful. Also remember, as I mentioned with the artist, that every rejection brings you closer to success, so that helps as well. And another good tip is to try and separate the feelings of rejection from your self-worth and feelings of feeling unlovable, those kind of things. Easier said than done, but one quite good way to do that is to see if you can eliminate the word rejection from your vocabulary. This was another one also from Brendan Burchard, and he found that people who don't really have an issue with rejection rarely use that word. They just don't think of it in that way, they think of it differently. Okay, so the third one is to know what you want and have reasons and benefits as well. So the idea here is that if you know what you want, this gives you more motivation, and that can be higher than the pain of the rejection. So if the pleasure or the reward is higher than the pain, then you're more likely to do it. Okay. So what you can do is you can ask yourself certain questions such as, what do I want from this person? So there's a person I'm going to approach. What do I want from this person? And why is this important to me? And how will it benefit me? And the final question is, how will I suffer if I don't overcome my fear of rejection? So how will I suffer if I don't overcome my fear of rejection? And that last question is really about creating more pain, because sometimes more pain gives you more motivation to change. Okay, depends on the person. Some people are more what you call away from, so they need that pain to motivate them to act. So if that's you, then that last question will certainly help you. Okay, so number 4 is face your fear of rejection head on. So what I want you to do is to think about your fear of rejection, notice the negative thoughts and the feelings that come up, and remember that those negative thoughts and feelings are a big part of any fear, so not just a fear of rejection, any other fear as well. And really what that fear is wanting you to not take action. Okay? Problem is, when you don't take action, you reinforce the negative thoughts and you strengthen the fear. So what you need to do instead is you need to act. Face the fear and act. And do that regardless of those negative thoughts and feelings. Okay? And you can do that by just taking small steps outside of your comfort zone, and know that you might get rejected or feel uncomfortable when you do that, but know that that's a temporary feeling. And it's actually much better to get rejected than to have those ongoing feelings of discomfort from feeling the regret of missing an opportunity that you could have taken yourself up on. Okay? So remember that rejection is temporary and leads to positive change. But once that opportunity is lost, the regret from missing out is permanent. Okay, number 5, imagine how you want the situation to go. So just imagine in your mind just feeling and acting differently, and notice how people respond positively to you. Notice yourself looking calmer and in more control and more relaxed. And what you can do is you can start by seeing yourself on a large TV screen and seeing yourself doing all these things in a very positive, very self-assured, very calm way. Maybe even see yourself being rejected and dealing with that in a different way. And then once you feel good about that situation, you can then jump into that TV screen and imagine yourself as if you're seeing it through your own eyes. Number 6 is to explore where your feeling of rejection came from. So I mentioned earlier about the 5 to 7 significant times when you've been rejected in life. You may be aware of some of those, you may not be aware of those times. So this nice little exercise is to just allow your mind to just take you back to times when you've been rejected in the past, those significant ones, particularly the ones where you were younger and smaller. Okay, but what you do is you go back in time, as you imagine yourself go back in time, you take your present you with you. And when you come to one of those situations, present you tells that younger you that everything's okay, you're fine, everything's all good, and helps to neutralise that experience. And why this is useful is it helps you then to imagine it in a different way or remember it in a different way in the future. And when you remember things in a different way, your feelings start to change as well. So that's really how that works. That can be quite useful. It also loosens any beliefs you have about rejection as well, by seeing something in a different way. So give that one a go. Number 7, remember that the other person loses out as well. So you take a risk by asking someone, but the other person also takes a risk by saying yes or no. So whichever answer they say is a risk. They could be, by saying no, they could be missing out on a wonderful new employee. They could be missing out on a loving and caring partner or an honest new friend. So it can be their loss as well. And remember that the other person that says no could be having an off day, could be in a bad mood, and they're human as well, and may not always make the best or the right decision. Okay, so number 8, be less of a people pleaser. So if you're one of these people who finds it hard to say no to other people's requests, especially when those requests and demands seem unreasonable or unreasonable to you, then practice starting to say no to some of those requests. And what's really good about this is that helps you respect your own needs more, and that will boost your self-confidence as well. And what's also good about this as well is that you'll then understand when other people say no to you, you'll understand more about why they're doing that, okay? Because it will be for the same reasons that you're saying no to other people as well. So that's a good one. Number 9, focus on the positive outcome. So just remember that any thoughts you have about possibly being rejected or being unsuccessful are no more true than the opposite thought of being successful or being accepted, okay? But what's key here is that the positive one is going to feel better. It's going to feel better inside. And when something feels better inside, you tend to act better, you tend to act more confidently. And also you tend to get more of what you focus on as well. So the last one, number 10, remember that being rejected is not the end of the world. Ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen if I was rejected in this situation? Maybe the worst thing is that a relationship ends or you lose your job. Think about what you would do to overcome that worst case scenario. Okay, I know it sounds quite negative, but actually what a lot of people do is they come up with these what if questions. What if I lose my job? What if this happens? But they never answer them. And by answering them and actually having contingencies, that will help reduce that fear and allow you to act more successfully and with less fear. So notice any other what if questions that come up as well. If you have an example, what if my boss refuses my request for a pay rise? Okay. Alright, so what are my options here? Okay, well I can find a way to live with less money. I could get a part-time job that will earn me some more money, or I could look for a full-time job that pays more money. Okay, so there's some of your options there that you've got. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also leave a comment below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and click the bell notification. That way you'll get notified of future videos that I release. So thanks again for watching, and I look forward to sharing more great content with you soon. Bye for now.